of how do you know when a piece is truly finished?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because you can be a perfectionist and have so much attention to detail.
Right.
How do you know when that piece is
Yes.
just truly done?
Yeah. Well, I had to learn over time also to step away and let it be, you know. But as I've grown, also my talent, my skills, I guess, has evolved, and I have some paintings at home that I didn't want to sell because it had I had a personal connection with it, and. I have been looking at it, and this year has been very interesting because this year I've optimized several paintings, and yeah, just change things around. But in my regular process, how do I know truly? As I just said, when I feel like, yeah, this is it. It's like a wow effect for myself personally, and it just feels like, okay, it's done.
Do you listen to music or follow any kind of rituals while you paint?
Again, sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Actually, I have to tell you that lately, mostly not, mostly just silence. And sometimes I'm painting in the living room, watching TV, or have it the TV in the background while I paint, and focus on whatever I need to focus on. I used to have a lot of Gypsy King in the background, and that nurtured my drive. And I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago. And I listened to far more music in the past than now. Now it's just whatever is happening and in my surroundings. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be quiet. It doesn't have to be loud. Or I don't need music. I don't need anything. I just need to have my drive and my motivation to create.
Talk to us a little bit now about your style and how has your style evolved over the years, and are there distinct phases in your painting history?
Yes. So as I said, I started off with oils and with animals and with different colors, depending on what I felt belonged to that animal at that time, or at least the energy that was within me. Right now, I do far more detail and far more contrast than ever. And I'll walk you through some paintings, like Splendor, for instance. There's far more contrast here, but there's also a painting called New Beginnings that I painted in 2019, and that I changed this year. I actually changed the whole horse with far more contrast, as you can see. It's far more detailed, far more sharp, if you wish. And yeah, this is another painting, Bull Steady, also far more contrast and breaking through the matrix as well. So more detail and more contrast. That's where I'm at now. And every single time I look at my work, I try to do better, but not in a angry way, just in a loving way,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that there are no boundaries unless you create those boundaries for yourself.
Yeah. So today we're just going to continue learning more about you, and I want to ask you some questions about your meaning and message of your artwork. Many of your paintings evoke emotions and reflection. What message do you hope viewers take away from your artwork?
Well, often the name kind of tells you, what the energy, more or less, of the painting represents. And like that one there, the moose, it's called Unstoppable. I'm just going to give you one example. That moose, is in the cold, harsh winter, digging in the snow to find its food. It's unstoppable, and it's driven to survive. And that's a painting that I created recently, and it has to do, for me, if you translate it for my emotions. I lost my mom not that long ago. My mom was unstoppable. She was always very positive, very happy. and taught us also, those beautiful characteristics. Um, and right now, look where the world is. There's a lot going on, and it's important to trust yourself and know that you have the strength to be unstoppable. And winter is coming. I love to create snow, and that combined, um, for me radiates that power. And that's more or less what happens with, or what I always do with my paintings, kind of like put my intentions, my heart intentions, and I always called it from soul to canvas. And that means truly, having a clear mind, and painting from the heart, and putting emotions in there without intention sometimes, if it just naturally flows. And later on, I often find out what has been processed and what has been more or less created within the structure and within the energy and of the image.
I know you've done many paintings over the years, but is there a particular painting that holds deep personal meaning for you?
Yeah, there are several, and they are not on my website or not being shown. So yes, there are certain paintings that are my own. And in the beginning, I have to say, that made me think about the past, and still today, whenever I create certain paintings, I get sometimes a strong connection with them, and don't want to let them go. And I don't let them go because, obviously I need that energy within my own home, within my own presence. And sometimes I have a paintings for a couple of years or a couple of months or a couple of weeks, and then I know it's ready to let go. And then also the new owner presents itself. But to go back to your question, yes, I have powerful, for myself it's powerful, paintings that I have in my bedroom. And that, yeah, are my silent teachers.
That kind of goes well into this next question, to kind of elaborate. How do you see art as a form of empowerment or healing, both for yourself and for others?
Well, I believe with everything that you do, artistically, cooking even, creating any art, the creator's energy is in there. If you're angry and you make some food, I don't know if it will taste that good, but if you're happy and if you do it from love, it's far more nurturing and powerful, I think. Um, um, Sometimes we don't even realize it, that we're drawn to certain art. We just think we like the image, but later on, when you hear the story, then you realize, oh, there's a deeper meaning behind me being drawn to this artist and to this work. So, yeah.
So let's talk about your inspiration and your influence now. Who or what are your biggest artistic influences?
It's funny, I don't have any artists or people that are consciously my influence, because, as I said, I paint from soul to canvas. So it's truly going into the nothing where everything is, I believe. That's where I connect with all that is, with the goddess energy, God energy, whatever you want to call it. And that's what brings forward my inspiration.
Speaking on that, do you find inspiration more in nature, emotion, or human experience, or a combination of all three?
I think it's a combination of all three. And as I said, there's not always a story. Most of the time, there's not even a story behind why I started. It happens in the process of creating. And I'm processing a lot of thoughts, a lot of experiences, maybe what happened that day, or maybe a year ago, or whatever time frame that's attached to that. But certain memories come by as I'm painting, and I feel like as I'm thinking about these different things that never was in my mind before that, I am more or less digesting it and letting it go, or maybe learn from it, or it's different all the time. But yeah.
As a graphic designer, I at times can go through designer's block.
Right.
How do you stay inspired and creative, especially during challenging times?
I'm not always inspired and creative. No. When I was pregnant with my third child, that I unfortunately lost in a car accident, I couldn't paint at all. I tried, but all my skills were gone. I was very focused in organizing and building my business at that time, and that was the influence of my child in my womb at that time. So I don't force things. If I don't feel inspired, I'm not painting. And sometimes I paint for maybe daily, and other times maybe for months I don't paint at all. So I just flow with whatever is truly needed, and what feels right.
Okay. Well, let's close with, I want you to tell us a little bit about your artistic journey and vision. And I just have a few more questions for you. But what has been your most memorable exhibition or moment as an artist so far?
I have to think for a second. What was my most memorable moment? That makes me think of creating my son's portrait. I was always kind of apprehensive in creating human beings, but my son, I think he was around 2 years old, my oldest, and I felt drawn to create his portrait. And it was in bluish colors that I created his portrait. And I remember painting it in 4 hours. It was really rapidly, it was just really flowing, and there was no issues, no thoughts, no apprehension. It was very natural, and that was amazing to me, because I never was that free, or I allowed myself to be free and trusting, painting human beings. But creating my son, it was a pleasure to do that.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. How do you hope your art evolves in the coming years?
I don't really think about the future. I just know that in the now, I do my best, and I keep on doing my best. And as I have done that, I see it grow and change and evolve. And as long as I'm happy with it, I'm happy with the process and the results. That's all that's important, I think. It would, of course, be amazing, to spread my artwork in different countries. There's already a painting in Australia, in the Netherlands, where I come from, obviously, and here many here in the United States. But spreading my artistic creations into different areas of the world would be amazing.
Awesome. Well, in closing, what advice, Wilhelmina, would you give to emerging artists who are still finding their voice? You've done this for many years, but what advice would you give new artists or emerging artists trying to find their voice?
Have fun with it and trust yourself, and every single person can be an artist if they allow themselves to be an artist. So don't talk yourself down, keep the self-talk positive, and know that whatever you don't like, you can do again, and you can become as good as you allow yourself to be. So have fun with it.
Well, on that note, I think we'll close, but thank you so much for taking time for this interview. Again, this is Dan Brooks with DB Creative, and today we're interviewing Wilhelmina Stöcker, and we got to know a little bit about her today. So thank you very much again for sharing your time with us.
My pleasure, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.